Hey guys, we are waiting. We'll start the session in another 5 minutes. I'm sure most of you were in Dabbawala's keynote, so that's still continuing. So that could be the reason, people are still coming in. So, hey guys, welcome to the session. Guys, as I was saying, we'll start maybe another 3 to 5 minutes. The session, we are still waiting for speaker to join. And I'm sure he must be in the session too. So, yes, here is our speaker. All right, hey, Zai.
Hi, Bhupal, how are you?
Good. So we are almost there to get started. I'm already seeing about 50 plus people joining in. So, just guys, hey guys, I'm introducing Zaid Hassan. He's the speaker. I think some of you pinging. So the session is, governing Agile team to increase effectiveness. He'll have like about 45 minutes speak, and then we'll have about 10 minutes of question and answer. So just to quickly introduce Zahid, he's basically agile expert and a frequent speaker. He's this agile forum regional scrum gathering moderator for Bangladesh. He has lots of experience and the certification, his CSM, CSPO, whatnot, and he's also Six Sigma, PMP, SPC, all sort of certificates, and he's quite a hands-on guy. So let's hear about him. The topic could be going to be governing agile team to increase effectiveness. Hey, Zahid, it's over to you now.
Okay. Thank you, Bhupal. Just I share my screens.
Please type in your questions in chat box, and then I'll collect them, and then we'll have your questions and answer session, towards the end of the session. Yep.
Is it visible to you, Bhupal?
Yes. So
my screen.
Whichever there are 3 windows, whichever is a double click you do, it's become a bigger one. So all of you guys. Yeah.
Okay. Did you see my screen?
Yes.
Regional Scrum Gathering.
Yes, properly.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good evening. Maybe it is good morning for someone and good afternoon for someone. I have started my session in Regional Scrum Gathering Hyderabad 2020. My session topic is governing Agile team to increase effectiveness. Before start the session, I just like to introduce myself. I am your core learner Jahid Hassan from Bangladesh, and I am working currently I'm working in a software development company as a VP for software development department. I don't kill so much time for you. Just I'm going to the main session. Actually, my session topic is governing Agile team to increase the productivity of team. Here, actually, I will try to I will try to share some of my experience, because we are just from 2 months ago we start the transition to establishing agile government in my current organization. First of all, I like to say about what do you think about governance. Governance is actually a common term in every country. For government, the first thing we think a picture is come to our mind, that is vote and ballot paper. We just give vote to create the government. But here is the difference: government and governance. Governance is the alignment of an initiative, as like it is an project or any product, with organization goal to create values. This is the governance. Governance define how the initiative is set up, managed, and also controlled. It also established measurements, policies, standard, communication, control mechanism to enable people. Here is the main term: the enable people, not disable the people. People should enable. Then, how to define governance? It is a balancing of risk versus return of investment, then setting effective process and practices, defining the direction and goals, defining the rules that people play within the organization. Then we for agile governance. What do you think about agile governance, and what do you Agile governance is all about creating values across the organization, not just within an individual project or in a individual teams. In Agile culture, in all Agile frameworks, we all about doing about we are all concerned about our team. But in the main difference between the Agile framework, Agile methodology is any framework, and Agile governance is Agile governance is not focusing on individual project or team. It is just focus on the whole organization. It is meant to create a bridge between the organization management and the teams that are completing the projects. Then Agile governance has some manifestos, as like Agile. Agile has, all of you know that Agile has 4 manifestos. Think like Agile governance has also have 4 manifestos. First one is collaboration over conformance, then continuous monitoring over quality gates, then enablement over inspection, and finally transparency over management reporting. These are the 4 manifesto of Agile governance. First one is collaboration over conformance. All of we try to do anything with collaboratively. Here, the team member, individual team member should be collaborate, and the team to team collaboration is focusing in Agile governance. Then continuous monitoring, which over then quality gates, then enablement over inspection, and transparency over management reporting. As like that, Agile governance also have principle. Agile governance has 15 principles. All of we know the 12 principles of Agile methodology. The other 3 principles I have included here. The 13th principle is leverage and evolve the assessment within organizational ecosystem and collaborate with the people responsible for those assessed to do. Then the number 14 is visualize workflow to help achieve a smooth flow of delivery while keeping work in progress to a minimum. And the final principle is the organization ecosystem must evolve to reflect and enhance the effort of an agile team, yet be sufficiently flexible to still support non-agile or hybrid teams. Yes, agile governance, we can establish agile governance for non-agile and or for hybrid team also. Agile governance should address some things. Which are these? The first one is rules and responsibilities. That is, agile governance should address the rules and responsibility of individuals and also team. Individual, what an individual can do, what how an individual will perform, and how a team will perform. Every rules and responsibility will be guided by agile governance. Then decision making process and decision rights, these are also addressed by agile government. Actually, who will collect, who will get, or who will share which information, this make we call the decision right, and who will make the decision and how a decision will be making. These processes are addressed by agile governance. Then there should be a governing body. Yes, in the governing body, who are working in the governing, mainly in your the senior and experienced people are working on the governing body. There is no simplified rule about the number of people of governing body. Then agile then agile governance addresses some process. These are exceptions, escalation, knowledge sharing, and audit. Audit is very important in agile governance. I will describe it is on later. Then the matrix strategy. Which matrix strategy will address? Then risk mitigation, reward structure. Reward structure is uh, another thing to motivate our teams and peoples, and the status reporting and the policy standard and guidelines. Here is the thing, we can match it with our standard, which is called CMI. In CMI, we will always try to work with policies, standard, and guidelines. In in that, in agile governance, the governing bodies, the governors should provide the some policy, standard, and guidelines, which should be streamlined and lightweighted. Then, actually, agile governance also be a mindset, as like agile. For this step, the government should need to follow some mindset. Sorry, the number one is lead by examples. Government always need to focus on lead by example, because people take their cues from their leadership team. If governance strategy is streamlined and lightweighted, then whatever is governed will be inevitably becomes streamlined and lightweighted. So the team will easily grab the things. Then the second thing is be a servant leader. Uh, if we differ it from our Scrum framework, in Scrum framework, the servant leader is the Scrum master. Here, the Scrum master is only one person who is servant leader. But in Agile governance, the governing body, the governors, all of are the servant leaders. The primary focus of the servant leader is to prevent the roadblocks, and if there is no roadblocks, then get rid of them, and they also focus which type of roadblocks may come in near future. They just work with this. Then another thing is motivation over management. I am actually my career is mainly on software company. That's why I relate the all examples related with the software development and IT professionals. Actually, IT professionals are intellectual workers, and we know that intellectual workers generally do not respond well to being told about what to do, but they can be motivated, and once motivated, they will actively work on the or what they have been motivated. So how can we motivate the IT professional, the knowledge worker, the intellectual workers? We we just motivated them by using clear communication about what is our organization goal, what organization want to trying to be. If we motivated them, then it will be easy to do the right things by them. Then the fourth mindset is enablement over audit. Yes, in the psychology of people, if someone give us two choice, always we are going for the easiest way. Your easiest way. That is our psychological issue. Suppose if you said your development team to write to follow provide follow to follow coding convention properly, then they will ask you to give a guideline. It is the common phenomenon of people. So for enablement anything, we should write we should fix up a template or guideline. And yes, though it is a regularity environment, so we should need to inspect everything, and the final stage is audit. We can audit our progresses after a long time, as like two in a years. Not it is not no need to frequently. Then the fifth one is communicate clearly, honestly, and in timely manner. It is a very important term. In Agile, we know face-to-face communication is more encouraged, but in Agile governance, it is also we need to communicate clearly, honestly, and timely. Then streamline collaboration is another thing. Then trust but verify. Yes, Agile is based on trust. All of you know that Agile is based on trust. But to ensure that the right thing is happening within your organization, there need to be verified that. It is the duty of Agile governor who will verify, who will trust you, but verify whether everything is going fine or not. Then the next point is focus on mitigating risks, not just reviewing documentation. It is a common term in every organization. If anything happen, then the senior people will ask the junior to come with the documents what you did, then just reviewing it. But in agile governments, the governor should focus on mitigating the risks, not just reviewing the documents. And another thing is learn continuously. The governor should learn continuously to help the others. Consider both the long and short-term goals. Governors must balance short-term needs with the long-term strategy of growing and enhancing the organization. Then the last mindset point is be a great host. Actually, people who have fun at work and who enjoy what they do are much more productive than the people who don't know. In that stage, governor has the main responsibility to be a host to happy the teams and team players. Govern Agile government should have some strategies which we need to follow. The number one is empowered team. All of we know that the Agile team are actually self-organizing. Uh, they they know what they need to do. They know how they uh, do their jobs in dance stage. But in Agile government's environment, the governor should empower every teams. Then enterprise awareness means multiple team is working in an organization, and just you are working in a team, you know your team norms, team rules, everything, but you need to know how to communicate and collaborate with other team. And this is the duty of the governor to to give the guideline or find the strategy of inter team communication. Then high level roadmaps, high level technology and business roadmaps mainly produced by enterprise architecture and product management, both combined effort. If we but the governor's main responsibility to distribute the high level roadmap to all team and team members. Then collaboration of team is required here. Then enterprise knowledge to the team is also required here. Then the automated dashboard. Agile governance always focus on automated dashboard. They're trying to establish the dashboard by using any BI tools. But some dashboards are also dashboard means some metrics points are also be non-automated, as like the stakeholder satisfaction level. There is no tool is available in market to uh, get the get the metrics. That's why in some cases agile governance team work manually. For example, to get the satisfaction level of stakeholder, they may use the Kanu models and how much satisfied the stakeholders. But the manual dashboards and manual data collection is also expensive for any organization. And the next strategy is define roles and responsibilities. Yes, it is the main duty of agile governors who governing the agile teams. They must define the rules and responsibility of the team and the team member. Then define the organizational structure. An organization, we know that in our education we learn something from management. There are several types of organizational structure as like hierarchical, then vertical, hierarchical, matrix, and so many kind. But in governing agile governance, a governor must define the organizational structure, and he will let to know the team members about the organizational structure where they are working. Then some common guidance and governance team, and finally he need to govern the team. Here is a agile governed life cycle. It is as like our scrum process. First of all, it is on the there are three phase. in inception phase, construction phase, and transition phase. In inception phase, what we actually seeing here, there are some initial modeling, planning, initial requirements and release plans are doing here, and working items are stored here with highest priority unit. Then in construction phase, the team did it in iteration. They just take the items and put the highest priority works in the iteration backlog. Then they in iteration backlog, we know the stories are holded, and then they divide the stories in the tasks and subtasks. Then they then the team working in iteration and and ready a shippable item. Okay, before that, in the last stage of construction, we are used to the iteration review, retrospective, the demo to stakeholder, etc. And finally, the after completing the final review, we will put the shippable item in a stage. And if on the time of transition in the release plan, we just release this to our production. And there is a three stage also have some milestone. Number one, in inception, here is the stakeholder vision. As you know that we are working for our stakeholders. Stakeholder vision is the inception phase. Then in construction phase, we are going for a proven architecture, the project viability and sufficient functionality. And in the transition phase, our focus is on production ready and delighted stakeholders. Here is our milestone, which we can be sorry. In inception, the stakeholder condensence, we can ask some question to our stakeholder. Does the stakeholder agrees with your strategy? If yes, then we'll go for construction. In as like this, construction has some question, and finally transition has some question. Agile governance has some philosophies. As you know that every methodology has some philosophy. In agile governance, the first philosophy is trust and respect. Actually, actually all of we know that trust and respect, these are the uh, uh, values of our Scrum framework. Actually, again, Scrum, trust and respect are also using in agile governance. The bottom line is that if the governor don't have good relationship with the team team member, then effective government is difficult to establish. This is the main point. Then stakeholder driven. Okay, stakeholder are the we are going for our stakeholder. So in if we going for agile government, then stakeholder might be aligned with us. Then collaborative strategy, we need to focus our collaborative strategy. We need to be transparent and then motivated. Don't dedicate. Actually, I have talked most of this about previous skin. Then one thing is last one is automation whether possible. Agile governments always encourage to automate. As like if we going for burn down chart or burn up chart or anything, uh, previously we were doing drawing this by hand, but agile governments always ask them to use automated tools, also for code building, also for source code, and also for any metrics. Agile governance philosophy is to doing using automation as more as possible. Then these are the importance of agile governance, as like it will create the business value, provide a appropriate return of investment, mitigate this, all of our covered in previously. Then the practices, which type of practices we need for agile governance. Agile governance has we can divide their practices in two categories. One is agile formal agile practices, and another are discipline practices. For agile practices, the agile governance followed the coordination meeting, the iteration demonstration, all hands demonstration, retrospective, information radiators, visual management. As agile methodology, the coordination meeting, iteration hands-on, as like iteration demonstration, it is as like as the sprint review meeting. Then retrospective, same as a little speaking. And visual management means the visual task board, burn down chart, burn up chart, etc. Then they also use some practices which is from our dead framework, discipline as well delivery. From here, this framework, number one is risk value life cycle, number two is explicit lightweight milestone, follow enterprise development guideline, work with enterprise professional. This is the These are the more important terms to perform agile governance in any organization. And if you going to transformation of agile governance, then you must follow these four things: risk value life cycle, explicit lightweight milestone, and follow enterprise development guideline, and work with enterprise professionals. These are the way how we established or define agile governance in our office, in our organization. Now, my the second part of my topic title, governing a agile team to measure improve their performance. How can we measure the agile team's performance? In that way, the first one is talk to the people, don't manage to the metrics. Actually, metrics don't give the proper answer each time. As like the number of error may be increased in a iteration, but it depends on the uh, business logic and other things. Sometimes we have transition, we have changed the technologies, then it may be happen, the number of error may be increased. But if we take decision on the base of the metrics, then it seems it will be a wrong decision. So it is better to talk with people according to any metrics. Then measuring team, not individuals. This is the fantastic thing of agile governance. In agile governance, every team should be a single entity. They are working with around the teams, and individuals are inside of in inside of any teams. That's why agile governance mainly focus on measuring the teams. Then another thing is collect several metrics. Sometimes a we are not going to take decision based on single metrics. It needs some supporting metrics, as like the trend. If we going to find out the trend, we need two or three metrics at a time. The fourth one is already covered. Trend are better than the scalar value. Yes, scalar values, trend is better than the scalar value. As like an example, if a defect count 20 in a certain period, uh, I think it is not a complete information. If I going for this information, suppose 30 defects in our last iteration, then 20 defects in last week, and 10 defects in this week. This is a trend. If we going for a trend, then it is better to understood. Then the fifth one, which is very interesting topics, and I will discuss on later. Next step, adopt a goal question matrix approach, GQM approach. Actually, what is GQM approach? GQM approach is going for identify goals that you want, that we want to achieve. And how can we achieve? We will achieve this by using some question and some metrics. Then the next one is empirical observation is important but limited. All of we know that Scrum is focused on empirical process, inspect, adapt, and observation. In most of the agile framework, as like Scrum, we inspect and adapt regularly. But in agile governments, empirical thing is allowed here, but not regularly. After a certain period or after a certain time, we may adapt. But in Scrum, we adapt, we inspect and adapt things in every sprint. But in agile governance, this is not encouraged. Then preferred automatic metrics, all of you know that what is this. And then some metrics must be gathered manually, as I said it earlier. Then prefer pull versus push reporting. Actually, for agile governance, we will use pull reporting, and the report will be pushed by our teams. Team will push the report, and the agile governance, they will just push the report. Then beware of scientific facets. Then measure the values of your metrics program. Be prepared to educate people. It is a very important part. In our organization, we found some people who are some people who are very older and who have actually no knowledge about agile methodology. Then if we going for established agile governance in our organization, then it will problematic when they react about it. So we need to educate those people about what we get from here, what will be our benefit. And if they know about agile and agile governance, then it will be easy to measure our team performance. Then the value of many metrics. And last two thing is, if you collect no metrics at all, you are a flying bird. And if you are collected too many metrics, you may be flying blinded. So we need to capture proper metrics, not too many or not so less. Then some potential metrics name is here, which are using in agile governance. Number one is uh, acceleration. It is monitoring the health of continuity. Then stakeholder satisfaction, you can use Kanu model here. Then defect 10, what is the defect 10? Business value delivered. Team morale, if we going uh, for team building, we will always have a team morale, have some team slogan. So team morale is very important. And then the velocity, how much we deliver in the last sprint, the
Hey,
change cycle. Hello.
Zahid, see, I mean, there is a background noise like wind or air blowing. Is there any doors open or windows see if you can close? I mean, in your room.
uh, uh, is there any issue?
I mean, there is a little bit of a background noise continuously, but I mean, people are able to hear. But see if there is I mean, I don't know, some wind or air, blowing. Maybe your window or your fan or
um, okay, I think from backside some lights are comes.
okay. Just check if you can manage. Okay, thanks. Yeah, please go
Okay.
on. Yeah.
Okay. Then this is the metrics. Then a common metrics is NPV, net present value. Then return of investment, iteration one down, release one down, effort cost, projection, risk mitigation, code accuracy, etc. Mainly, this type of potential metrics are used by Azure governance. Then I'm going for the interesting part, which is called GQM, goal question metrics, which is used to measuring agile teams. GQM is a technique to identify meaningful metrics for the measurement of progress. Here we found the goals. uh, those come from actually for conceptual level. Measurement goals involve product, process, and or other resources. Then the question comes from operation level, and the metrics come from quantitative level. When we going for goal to metrics, this our definition should be decreasing, and if we move up from metrics to goal, then analysis and interpretation should be increases. GQM, this is the simple step of GQM process. Develop a set of corporate division and project business goal for productivity and quality. Generate question, then specify measure need to be collected and answer. Develop mechanism for data collection. How can you collect the data? It's your part. Then collect, validate, and analyze the data in real time to provide feedback project to corrective action. Then analyze the data to assess conformance to the goal and to make recommendation for future improvement. Then actually I set a GQM before start my session. This was my goal was my audience does not fall asleep in the next 45 minutes. My session is for 45 minutes. It is my goal, and this why I set 3 questions. Did they even show up in the keynotes? যে আমার basically the audience who are in here, are they available in the keynotes? Then I made a metrics which is total participant versus my session participant. Actually, how many was in the keynote and how many is in my is in my session. That is actual versus expected is a matrix. Then I said the second question: have they been thoroughly caffeined? Actually, it is a online session. That's why I did not get any snore or silent ratio here. Uh, I just set the snore to silent ratio. Then my third question is: are they paying attention so far? Actually, my audience are paying attention to me or not? What about their contact variance? And I will set it by the number of query, how much query they put in the question box. If they put more query, then I can say that yes, they are paying attention. And if I don't found so many query, then I then I can easily say that they were snore to silence ratio. Then these are some example of good goals. If any of you try to implement agile governance in your organization, then you must follow at least these goals. First one is we should invest in IT wisely. We should provide a healthy work environment to the team. Team should deploy in a timely manner. Team should provide real value to stakeholder. We should reduce overall technical depth over time. Team should produce solution that of sufficient quality, and we should comply to appropriate industry regulation. Actually, currently I am working with these goals and finalize 2 or 3 things. For number one, my our goal is we should invest in IT wisely. The first question is how effective the investment is in IT activities. Then we use 3 metrics here: our business value delivered, NPV, and return of investment, ROI. What future spending do we require? We have finalized the result by effort divided by cost projection. And our third question is productivity increasing? Actually, to define a new things, that is agile governance in organization, is really our productivity is increasing or not? Then we made 3 metrics that are for acceleration, business value delivered, and velocity. velocity must be with trend, previous 3 or 4 sprint velocity. Then our second goal is deploy in timely manner. In
I
that case, yes.
have another 5 minutes, Zahid.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
yes. Okay, deploy in timely manners. In that, our first question is the team working at a sufficient pace or not? For that, we have used release one down and range release one down chart, two metrics. And as our second question is the team working together effectively or not? That's why we found the three metrics: the team morale, stakeholder satisfaction, and blocking working items. I have We have also implemented introducing a new things. Um, Blocking, we have introduced a log for blocking items, as like the storyboard, as like the as like spin backlog. We have introduced a blocking item backlog, where if we found any blocking item for any team, we just put it on the wall, on the board, and work with it and move to the blocking item to resolve next, that type of things. Third, are changing requirement putting the release date at risk, and we are trying to find out this measured by age of item and release and range release burn down. And for it is for reduce technical depth, the code quality, defect density, build health, defect trend, test coverage. If you interested to implement agile governance, then first of all you need to find out that type of GQM for your organization. That's all from my side. Okay, thanks to all.
Hey, thanks, Zahid. All right. So we have a couple of questions, and we can get into. It was very intensive, and lots of content you had. That's great.
Yes.
Good. So, Ira Lodha, I think she has a couple of questions, and guys, please feel free to put in your questions if you have any, and also please vote the current session. Okay, polls are active. So what Ira wanted to ask is, different projects may have a different agile frameworks. Does it have any impact on governance?
Yes.
As we are using governance to create a bridge across organization, please share some insights of this based on your experience.
Actually, it is a common it is a common thing. Some teams are working in agile, some are in Kanban, some are in XP as well in your organization. So if we going to establish agile governance, then mainly focus on the team, not the team members. We need to define the streamlined guideline for the team. How can they collaborate with each other? It is the first thing. How you collaborate your teams. If you collaborate your teams, your entire teams, then it is easy to establish agile governance in your organization.
Good. Hope,
Mm,
Ira, that answered your
is it
question.
is it okay?
Ira, please feel free to respond. And then I have another question from her. So what she wanted to ask us, what type of metrics help the governance team beside the general agile team reports? How it is different than the management reports? So basically,
Okay.
metrics for governance team actually. What kind of?
Yes, governance teams use some different type of metrics than the single teams, as like uh, release one down is used by single team when we use agile in a team, but for Agile governance, we use series release rundown. Okay, that is a difference. Also, we focus on the team morals. This is another metrics, team moral metrics. Let me check. Then we go for risk mitigation metrics. This is not focused on single when we use for single agile frameworks. It is risk mitigation metrics is only used in agile governance. Then another is good quality, which is used for your single entity, which is used for agile, used in Scrum, XP, and another frameworks, and also in uh, what I say, agile framework, agile governance also. So here I list out the matrices which are mainly used for agile governance. There is some difference. If you going for GQM, if you establish GQM in your organization, then you will find the differences between the general metrics and the potential metrics. And I am I am also here to help you. If anyone like to implement GQM in your organization, then feel free to contact with me. I will help you voluntarily. There's no problem from my side.
That's great. That's great. Great to hear. That's good. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right. Okay. So I think those are the questions so far received. Um, I think we are good to close the session if people don't have questions. Or
Yes.
Zahid, if you have anything to share another 3 4 minutes. Otherwise, it was a wonderful session, very
Thanks.
informative. A lot of content you had. Thank you so much. But almost 40 people joined. Okay, thank you guys, and
Okay. Thanks a lot for thanks to everyone. Hope actually passed the last 45 minutes with us. It is a great pleasure for me. Thanks a lot.
yeah.
Bhupal, I have a question to you. Can I get the name of the participants who are in this session? Can you give me the list? Is it possible?
Yes, I think we have the recording. So in the recording, I think you can see the names. I mean, I'll check whether we can get the list dump.
Okay.
I'll come back to you on that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So cheers, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.